The little girl was standing alone beneath the giant departure screen, clutching a pink backpack with both hands, when a single father noticed that something was terribly wrong. Around her, thousands of travelers hurried through the crowded airport, dragging suitcases and checking phones, but she remained completely still, her eyes scanning every passing face with growing fear. Then she looked up at the departure board, whispered that she could not find her mother, and tears finally began rolling down her cheeks. What happened next would bring two broken families together in a way neither of them could have imagined. Before we continue, if you believe that kindness can change a life, that hope can find us in our darkest moments, and that people deserve compassion, forgiveness, and second chances, please take a moment to like this story, share it with someone who needs hope, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Nathan Brooks had never planned on becoming the kind of father who measured his days by school pickups, lunchboxes, and bedtime stories. 3 years earlier, after losing his wife, Grace, to an illness that had changed everything, Nathan had learned to build a life around his 9-year-old son, Caleb. He worked as an aircraft maintenance supervisor at a busy airport in Denver, Colorado, and every morning before work, he walked his aging golden retriever, Toby, with Caleb beside him. Toby had once belonged to Grace, and Nathan had kept the dog because Caleb believed his mother had left Toby behind so they would never feel completely alone. Toby's name was embroidered on the little red tag hanging from his collar, but Nathan never imagined that the same name would one day unlock a mystery that had been hidden inside another family's heart. That afternoon, Nathan was walking through the terminal with Caleb and Toby when he noticed the little girl. Her name was Sophie Carter, an 8-year-old traveling with her mother, Rachel, who had stepped away briefly to speak with an airline employee after their flight had been changed. Sophie had misunderstood where she was supposed to wait and wandered toward another gate. When Nathan found her, she was frightened but safe. He immediately contacted airport security rather than taking her anywhere alone, then stayed beside her in the public terminal while an employee made announcements and searched the nearby areas for her mother. Caleb sat a few feet away with Toby, gently keeping the dog calm while Sophie slowly stopped crying. When Rachel finally came running down the terminal, her face was pale with panic. The moment Sophie saw her, she rushed into her mother's arms. Rachel held her tightly, repeatedly thanking everyone who had helped. But then her eyes fell on Toby. Something about the dog's collar caught her attention. She stared at the small metal tag as though she had suddenly seen a ghost. The name engraved there was simply Toby Brooks. Rachel's expression changed completely. She asked Nathan where he had gotten the dog, and Nathan explained that Toby had belonged to his late wife, Grace. Rachel went silent. She asked for Grace's full name. Nathan answered, and Rachel covered her mouth with her hand. For years, she had carried a photograph of a young woman named Grace Whitmore inside an old envelope, a woman she had met during college and lost contact with after a painful misunderstanding. Grace had once helped Rachel through the most difficult period of her young life, and before they parted ways, she had promised to keep a small puppy named Toby if Rachel ever needed someone to care for him. Life had pulled them in different directions, and Rachel had never known what happened afterward. But that was not the biggest surprise. Rachel explained that Grace had once told her about a man named Nathan, the person she hoped would become the father her future children deserved. Rachel had never known whether that future had come true. Nathan realized then that the woman standing before him was not a stranger connected by coincidence. Rachel had been Grace's closest friend during the years Nathan knew almost nothing about, and Sophie had been named after Grace's favorite childhood saint. The discovery did not magically erase grief, but it gave Nathan something he had not felt in years: connection. Rachel and Sophie were not replacing anyone, and Nathan understood that. Instead, they were unexpected pieces of a story Grace had left unfinished. Over the following months, their families slowly became friends. Caleb and Sophie discovered that they both loved drawing airplanes. Toby became Sophie's favorite walking companion. Rachel occasionally helped Nathan with the overwhelming responsibilities of raising a child alone, while Nathan encouraged Rachel as she rebuilt her own life after years of putting everyone else first. One evening, months after the airport incident, Nathan found Caleb and Sophie sitting on the porch while Toby rested between them. Caleb had tied a small blue ribbon around Toby's collar. Sophie smiled and said that Toby finally had a new family adventure. Nathan looked at the old dog and realized something beautiful. Sometimes life did not give us back what we had lost. Sometimes it gave us something different, something unexpected, something that helped us carry the loss without carrying it alone. If this story touched your heart, please support it with a like, share it with someone who believes in unexpected second chances, and subscribe so more stories of hope and kindness can reach people who need them. And before you go, leave a comment telling us what you believe. Can one small act of kindness change the direction of an entire life? Nathan never forgot that airport afternoon. He had thought he was simply helping a lost child find her mother. Instead, he discovered a forgotten piece of the woman he loved, a friendship that had survived years of silence, and a new chapter for his son. As Toby's tail gently thumped against the porch floor, Nathan smiled through tears and understood that sometimes the people we are meant to meet arrive disguised as strangers, standing quietly in the middle of an ordinary day, waiting for someone kind enough to stop and notice.